What's going on, guys? Avatarmanz here, and I'm going to be doing some commentary over my gameplay of me completing the Eversax dribble challenge. This was super stressful, and this is definitely the hardest dribbling challenge or hardest workshop map that I've done to date. This took me, all in all, it took me from start to finish about 2 hours and 17 minutes. So I finally was able to complete it, and I got this edited down to about a 10.5 minute video for you guys. So on the left hand side, you guys can see this black square. Unfortunately, that was my OBS program trying to capture my video camera, which I had physically covered over it, so that's not really anything I can edit out in post, so you guys will have to bear with me on that. On the top right, you can actually see the timer going, so you'll see that jump as we cut from level to level. I actually have that bound. You can see that it says press your rumble button to minimize and maximize that. I actually have that bound to my left 3, my left click on the stick. So you'll see that kind of go in and out occasionally. So if you guys have any discrepancies there, just like that, that would be why. As for the first couple levels, I was actually fairly comfortable with some of these, and I didn't even die, I think, until level 4 or 5 at this point. I'm pretty comfortable with workshop maps in general, I feel. It's something that I practice a lot of. And so I'm used to these kinds of maneuvers as far as going over objects and going around walls and moving objects. So I didn't think anything of these first few levels, if I'm being honest with you. A new addition to this workshop map that we hadn't really seen previously was these blue jump pads, though, that keep your momentum going to the next platforms, which I thought was really cool. I wish these would be used more often in the future, to be honest with you. They're pretty nice. You'll see a lot more of these in the later levels, like 16 and on. So, yeah. So the gray ground underneath us, the ball will fall through it, but the checkerboarded, tile stuff that you start on, that ball can actually travel on that. So going forward, so that you guys know, obviously the ball, it can travel on that. Another mechanic that I kind of had to get used to for this workshop map that was pretty different from the rest of them was these moving platforms. So you guys can see that. I basically just skipped that whole section. The moving platforms I wasn't a huge fan of, if I'm being honest with you. There's another level going forward, I think in level 14 or so, that has that I wasn't a huge fan of either. The rest of this is fairly standard until we get to level 10, and for the next couple levels after that, where you're starting to get into the aerial mechanics, and they start using the jump platforms as well, which is pretty cool. Separates this map from something, say, like the dribble challenge number 2, or the Lethmir's Manscaped workshop map, the $5,000 one that he had a while back. Which I've completed both of those. I actually just got a brand new PB for the dribble challenge number 2. I was able to get 7 minutes and 24 seconds on that, so I'm pretty happy. I've been killing it basically on my times for a lot of these workshop maps, so I've been really happy with that. Up until this point, nothing too crazy. I think the first level that I actually struggled on, I want to say it was level 12 or 13 at all, where there was any sort of difficulty, in my opinion. The rest of the stuff is just basically ball carrying. And going into that, I think these workshop maps are extremely important. So if you're on PC, if you're on Steam or Epic, you should really figure out and download these workshop maps. My new ball control that I'm doing right now, in terms of dribbling without using boost and being able to manage your car speed and matching the ball speed, being able to make those really minute adjustments is something that you really only get from workshop maps, in my opinion. You don't really get this much opportunity to dribble like this in public matches, or rarely do you see people dribbling like this in free play. I actually uploaded a YouTube video a while back of I had the world record for the longest dribble, and that's basically what I did. Is I just dribbled for over an hour without even really using a whole lot of boost at all. So and level 12, some of these levels can be deceptively hard. For example, in this one, obviously we're dribbling downhill, so you have to make sure that the ball doesn't outpace your car. And when you go up a ramp that starts from downhill, it quickly accelerates up to the front of your car. So matching the ball speed here is obviously deceptively hard. And I know this video kind of makes it look a little easy, but Trust me, my camera, that is unfortunately just a black square, doesn't even show you. Normally my death counter will be shown here as well. So I don't even know how many deaths I have at this point, looking at this video with you guys. I believe at the end I ended up with around 300 deaths, 300, 350, something like that. All right, so now we get into the aerial maps. Obviously, we started at level 10 with our first aerial map, but level 13, we introduced these red lasers that I just went through. Those are really sensitive, and you can't touch any of it, whether it's your car or the ball. So now we mix this, level 14, we mix the moving platforms, which are, you know, a new mechanic in this workshop map, along with the red lasers as well. So I think this map took me a couple tries, but you know, again, if you're used to this kind of movement already where you're just carrying the ball and you're pretty good at it, then it's not too difficult. Level 15 was my most hated level out of anything else. This level is a huge pain in the butt. It's not even anything regarding any ball control. It's basically just car control and hole in the wall. It doesn't have anything to do that is related to any of the other levels, in my opinion. I would understand it more so if there were other levels similar to this one where it was mainly just car control. But this one doesn't really demonstrate any skill in terms of anything that you can even really apply to an actual game. Whereas the other stuff, when you manipulate the ball, when you're dribbling, when you're going over these walls, like in this next level, you're actually demonstrating some sort of skill that you can use in a game. Whereas the other ones, it's very unrealistic in that aspect, and there isn't really any other levels like it in this workshop map. So if I'm being honest, if I had one big criticism for this workshop map, it's I wish you could just remove level 15, maybe even add a different one that has the ball or something like that. I don't know. So anyways, like I said, a lot of this minute ball control is basically just going really, really slowly and having very fine movements. So that's basically what gets me through to these next couple levels here. Level 17 is the first aerial map where I actually do some sort of skip. So the original intended way is to go off these first couple jump bounce pads and then go in between some of the red lasers. But I had my friend Noah in Discord, and he said, hey, why not just skip it and go straight from the jump pad on the bottom to this next one, which will carry me through to the next level, instead of just going through the red lasers like before, like you're intended to. So I had this level that I did some sort of skip in, and then I believe level 19 was the next one that I had had another skip similar to that. But before we get to that, level 18 I thought was kind of strange, if I'm being honest. I've demonstrated up until this point much higher level mechanics than just being able to carry the ball through a tiny hole in the wall like the brick one, or even up a hill. So anytime I made a mistake up until this point, you would have to redo those you have to re-dribble through those two tiny holes in the brick and then back up the hill just to set myself up for this, you know, the finishing section on level 18 here, which was kind of annoying, if I'm being honest. It didn't really fit the rest of the level at all, especially considering how hard the next level is. Level 19 was pretty much the bane of my existence, and I think Wait and Pilkin in his video that he uploaded recently said that this was the hardest level for him as well. You guys can see that obviously I started basically an hour and a half into this, and this entire level I think took me like 30 minutes or so. So compared to how quick I got up to like level 15 or so, this was by far the longest level that I had taken compared to any of the rest of them. Similarly to the previous level with the lasers that I skipped, I basically just decided, you know what, instead of dribbling and going up the last couple platforms, it would actually be easier for me to or to air dribble it to the goal. And fortunately, unlike other workshop maps, the ball hitting that red and white pole is actually enough for me to trigger the event for the next level. So at this point, I thought I had failed, but when I went to reset myself, it actually allowed me to go through to the next level. So I'm pretty grateful that it's you know, it's pretty generous compared to other workshop maps. Normally you have to actually have the ball go through the poles in order to trigger that, you know, the next level. So this last one took me a lot longer than I would like to admit, if I'm being honest. As you can see, this one took me about 20 or 30 minutes as well. For some reason, I tried to backflip my way up to the next platforms above. for the first half of this when I first tried to do this level, but I finally I was able to figure out how to just air dribble it up to the next platform and, you know, time it with the red platforms going around. So that's basically the end of the workshop map. Overall, this was definitely the hardest workshop map I had done ever. I think this is the one that took me the most amount of time and gave me the most amount of trouble as far as any specific levels go as well. There were a couple hard levels in Lathimir's dribble training, or the Manscaped dribble training map that he did, but I was able to complete that pretty quickly in, I think, under 30 or 45 minutes, even on my first try. So this, in comparison, took me exponentially longer than any other workshop map. So I'm really happy that I was able to get this one completed. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, I hope you guys enjoyed my commentary on this. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to drop a comment on the video, and feel free to like it if you liked it. Thanks for watching, guys. Avatarmanz signing out.